Pokemon Era. Missing Mewtwo at the start of the check-in. Chapter 41. Scyther, go. Li Yu ran away after saying that, followed closely by Flash Scyther. The bushes were silent for a moment. The next second, countless grass-type Pokemon popped out. Groups of Snivy crawled across the ground, and Oddish lined up like a march. Gloom releases poisonous gas, and Vileplume, their leader, chases after them with claws and teeth. Countless vines waved in the air. Wherever you go. The trees were bare and all the leaves had fallen off. This isn't quite right. Closing square bracket. Look at their eyes, did they seem to be affected by something? Closing square bracket. Have you noticed? The edges of that Vileplume's flower are black. Closing square bracket. No wonder the secret green realm needs to be upgraded. Who can handle this? Closing square bracket. Hey, official announcement. Psychic magnetic field has returned to normal, but psychic Pokemon don't seem to have smelling salts yet. Closing square bracket. The barrage has not yet recovered from the incredible skills displayed by Li Yu, but was stimulated by sudden changes. Overwhelmed. I didn't even have time to pay attention to the official announcement that Psychic's magnetic field had returned to normal. All my thoughts were focused on the live broadcast of the Green Secret Realm. Precisely. Flash Scyther looked eager. Because of the Volcarona gene, although he has not fully mastered the application of the flame body, he still needs training. But the burns on my back had healed. The Volcarona gene, which is not afraid of fire, comes into play at critical moments. So every time the Pokemon behind him was about to catch up, Scyther drew his scythe and swung it suddenly. A powerful scythe strike with burning heat. This caused the dozen or so grass-type Pokemon in the front row to take a step back. Among them is Vileplume. The grass type is most afraid of the fire type. Vileplume felt a trace of fire type in the scythe and could only retreat. Li Yu ran a few meters away. With Flash Scyther's cover, he had time to look behind him. He turned his head, eyes flashing. Li Yu was shocked to find that Victreebel's rhizomes were sucking the soil that had just been soaked with blood. That was what Lin Fan left behind. The dark brown rhizome of Victreebel has turned blood red, matched with the big bloody mouth. Very scary. Li Yu feels like she has strayed into a modern horror film. How can this be? His first reaction was disbelief. But Li Yu knew that there was nothing wrong with his celestic eyes. It's obvious what went wrong. The secret realm is polluted. An idea suddenly came to his mind. In this case, Li Yu's eyes suddenly lit up. Immediately afterwards, I saw him standing there with his eyes closed, motionless. Cha. 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 Flash Scyther was almost dying of anxiety when he saw this, and the scythe in his hand swung faster, rustling in the wind. But its heat wave. The air was burned with a trace of ripples. What is Li Yu doing? Closing square bracket. Why aren't you running? Flash Scyther can't hold on any longer. Closing square bracket. Ah, I'm so nervous, I don't even dare to go to the toilet. Closing square bracket. It's better to go upstairs quickly. Li Yu is not dead in a while, but it will be bad if your bladder explodes. The barrage scared me to death. Everyone in the audience wanted to get in and remind Li Yu. Because the atmosphere was too tense. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Even the new viewers who came after seeing the hot search for Li Yu's own skills were affected by the atmosphere. Hideki didn't dare to come out. At this moment, everything about psychic magnetic field restoration was forgotten by them. After all, people with special abilities, a small group of people in the world, have no connection with the general public. After ordinary people regain consciousness, world order is restored. Only scientists will continue to care about the causes of magnetic field disturbances, and most people's attention will be attracted by other things. And Li Yu's self-created skill/space crack has become a hot search topic. The number of people on Luine's live broadcast increased instantly. It was twice the number before the magnetic field was disrupted, and nearly 500,000 people watched it at the same time. Under the spotlight. Finally, Li Yu moved. I saw a burst of green light suddenly pouring out of his palm. Green light flew into the air. The ball of light continues to expand. The light ball passes through a green line and pulls Li Yu below. He is constantly mobilizing all the strength of his body. I saw that the clothes on his body were soaked with sweat, and the sweat beads rolling down from them almost fell into his eyes. But Li Yu didn't dare to wipe it. Because the group of Pokemon really stopped chasing and stood still. At this time, he didn't notice. The essence fruit of grass obtained earlier suddenly gave off a burst of light. The bright light merged invisible into the ball of light. Growing stronger. The power of life bursts out. Grass-type Pokemon with abnormal mental contest conditions will recover smelling salts instantly. His eyes were clear for a moment. They looked around blankly. It's as if he doesn't know anything about the current situation, which is very strange. The power of Changpan. Li Yu is actually a person with special abilities. Closing square bracket. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. As soon as this barrage came out, people's understanding of Li Yu has been refreshed again. People with special abilities are too rare. Who among the people alive is not the heir of the family? Ordinary trainers can rely on themselves unless their talent is at the top level. Otherwise, self-awakening is impossible. But after the name of the strongest candidate was announced, everyone knew about Li Yu's family situation. Therefore, it was so shocking that he was a person with special abilities. In the secret realm, Li Yushang Pokemon stopped chasing, and without any hesitation, he quickly took out a bottle of colorless and odorless potion from his pocket. Lift the potion and open the bottle. He didn't even have time to look. He used his fastest speed ever and swallowed it with a loud thud. It can be said to be swallowed whole. This was indeed the case. He smashed his mouth twice and couldn't even taste anything. But in times of crisis like this, there is no time to worry about anything else. The moment when the medicine developed by Psychic is swallowed. In Li Yu's mind, a pink energy suddenly appeared out of thin air. It exuded a strange, mysterious aura, exactly the same as what he felt from Mewtwo. The next second, the sea of spiritual consciousness originally existing in the mind responds to it. A wave of dizziness came over my head. He suddenly felt weak. The green light ball above his head stopped rotating. Changpan's power is unsustainable. The eyes of the grass-type Pokemon that had restored smelling salts turned faintly red again, and they were about to mutate again. And the psychic in Li Yu's mind is still interacting with the sea of spiritual consciousness. Mutual integrated union. Wait until the last bit of pink psychic is completely integrated into the sea of consciousness. Li Yu opened his eyes, and his eyes suddenly burst out with light that was several times more powerful than before. The pink color in the depths of his eyes flashed away. His mind was lighter than ever. The mental power was like a big invisible hand, starting to spread to the surroundings. Psychic is really developed. Li Yu looked at his hands, feeling ecstatic. Psychic. This is the special ability he has always dreamed of. The most direct manifestation of psychic is that mental power can leave the body as a means of attacking rival. At the same time, you can also develop your own limits, such as teleport, mental exploration. At the same time, you can also develop your own limits, such as teleport, mental exploration. But not every psychic has this constitution. Most psychics only have the ability to telepathize with psychic Pokemon, but this is very, very unnatural in trainer. It is said that a top psychic can even imprison rival with a single glance. But, Li Yu glanced at the camera behind the tree and put away his hands. Mental power is invisible. The live broadcast of the scene just now was not detectable. Only the power of Viridian was exposed. But seeing that Pokemon is going out of control again, the psychic he has developed is only enough to use teleport once. Therefore, he must ensure that he uses it without anyone seeing it. Li Yu turned around and continued running. Flash Scyther was relieved when he saw his master running away, and chased after him closely. When he saw that the distance between Li Yu and the Pokemon behind him was less than 2 meters. Li Yu noticed a chill in the air. Not far away is a clear lake. He ran over and immediately jumped into the water. With the cover of the lake, I simply used teleport. Then, his body was covered with a layer of pink fluorescence, which was weak enough to be ignored. With the light flashing, Li Yu disappeared out of thin air. Studio. The grass-type Pokemon behind them have various skills, and even if Scyther is able to resist them, they are still powerless. Seeing that the venom released by Vileplume was about to spray onto him, the hearts of the audience were closely entangled. The barrages almost flooded the live broadcast room platform. Ooh God, run. Closing square bracket. What do the Pokemon troops do for food? This is the secret realm's fault, don't you care? Closing square bracket. Brother Lee is really in trouble, please save him. Closing square bracket. Lee Yu plunged into the water. The audience's tone has not yet calmed down. Right now, the live broadcast room went dark. A line of subtitles appeared out of thin air. In view of the fact that the special area cannot be broadcast live, the live broadcast of Green Secret Realm has ended. Thank you everyone for watching. Closing square bracket. Audience. The audience before the live broadcast roared on the spot, each one like a wild beast. What's more, the electronic screen was almost smashed to pieces. Just be a human being. I won't be able to sleep tonight, gone. I was about to be scared to death, but you did this to me. I'm really impressed by the Dudu platform live broadcast room. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Did Lee Yu escape? Lee Yu created his own skills, and you can see the power of that move. This is definitely the result of his own breeder. If this kind of genius dies, it will be a loss for all our trainers. People were extremely angry. Lee Yu was named the strongest candidate. This capital has been officially certified by Magic City and its value is extraordinary. Now the issue of self-created skills comes out. The value has been upgraded again. Moreover, the identity of Viridian Power's special ability user was exposed, and his value increased again. Even Alliance executives are paying attention to this live broadcast. It ended unexpectedly, no one expected it. The director of Dudu platform explained bitterly on the phone. I'm sorry, it's not that we don't live broadcast, it's just that there are no cameras in the restricted area. Restricted area. The top government officials were stunned. Only then did I remember Alliance's previous statement. Alliance and the government are not a system. The two parties work independently and cooperate with each other. Okay, I get it. After the senior executive hung up the phone, my heart felt cold. Everyone inside knows what the restricted area is like. Almost dead. Until now, not a single trainer made it out of the box alive. This fact was so terrifying that Alliance had been trying to hide it, but they didn't expect that Lee Yu, whom they were optimistic about, actually went in. I am jealous of talented people. Su Luoluo frowned as he watched the live broadcast on the black screen. Wang Zheng was overjoyed. In my heart, curse Lee Yu just died in the Green Secret Realm. After all, the other party is a person with special abilities. If Lee Yu grows up, his status will also be threatened. But he said hypocritically. Don't worry, he'll be fine. Su Luoluo had no time to talk to him and directly dialed the direct line of Alliance's decision makers. What came out was a disconnection sound. This means that the decision makers are in a meeting. She frowned and her heart tightened. Pity. The man opposite the old man looked at the dark screen, stood up and shook his head. About to leave. He won't die. Just as he opened the door, the old man suddenly spoke. The man looked back. He looked at this veteran teacher at Beijing University looking at him with unusual determination. The man didn't say anything and left silently. The incident was so shocking that the entry, Lee Yu is missing, quickly became a hot search topic within half an hour. This time it's not the same city, but the whole country. Dudu platform did not expect that things would ferment so quickly. Amidst the scolding, the announcement was quickly made. Dudu platform. After investigation, Lee Yu has entered the restricted area of the Green Secret Realm. The magnetic field in the restricted area is chaotic and camera equipment cannot be placed. The live broadcast has been interrupted. We are also very sorry. Closing square bracket. Less than a few minutes. The number of comments increased sharply. Restricted area. It's over, that's a dangerous area beyond the Golden Secret Realm. No way. Junior trainer is confused. Can someone please explain? The restricted area is an area that exceeds the level of its own secret realm. The higher the level of the secret realm, the greater the possibility of a restricted area. The probability of a restricted area in the Silver Secret Realm is only 5%. I didn't expect that the Green Secret Realm would be that 5%. I just want to ask, can my brother Lee still come out? Well, discuss until the end. The situation is no longer optimistic. Some netizens even organized it themselves. A group of people came to a blank place, with only a bunch of candles, prayers, and silence emoticons commenting on the last notification automatically posted by the platform system. Some people even started the topic of moment of silence for Li Yu. Yuna looked at the comments under Li Yu's account. His eyes instantly turned red. Magic City Wilderness Area. Vulpix, Vortex of Fire. Li Azi's eyes glowed with attracts brilliance and he hurriedly gave the order. Dugtrio on the opposite side was scurrying around with his head in his hands under the burning flames. At this time, she was in a daze. Under her influence, Vulpix's men also lost their sense of proportion. Escaped by Dugtrio. What's wrong with me? Li Az looked into the distance and muttered to himself. Secret green space. Li Yu appeared on the opposite side of the lake bank soaked to the skin. Sudden. There was a buzzing in my ears. Flash Scyther looked anxious, afraid that something would happen to him. I'm fine. After Li Yu gently comforted him, he raised his head. Suddenly I realized something was wrong. Those grass-type Pokemon stopped firmly on the other side of the lake. No one followed. The red eyes flickered, seeming to indicate ominousness. After a few seconds, it dispersed automatically. Everything speaks of weirdness. At this time, the familiar electronic sound sounded again. Drop. Closing square bracket. Sign in location. Green secret area restricted area. Closing square bracket. Hey, check-in at the 5-star location was successful. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. The mythical beast Pokemon egg needs to be hatched. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. The mythical beast Pokemon egg needs to be hatched. Note. Incubation conditions, genetic particles of mythical beasts. Li Yu was shocked. Almost speechless. When he realized what he heard, he took a deep breath. It's actually a 5-star sign-in, a mythical beast Pokemon egg. He immediately cursed. This secret realm is really holding back a lot. He had some regrets before. Why is it not like the graduation assessment secret realm, where you can sign in every area? But I didn't expect it. There is a restricted area in the green secret realm. Still a 5-star check-in that has never appeared before. The corresponding reward is also beyond all previous mythical beast Pokemon eggs. Although there are hatching conditions. But this is not a problem in front of the 5-star sign-in. Don't say anything else. Due to mental damage, Mewtwo could only exert 20% of his combat power, but he still reached the quasi-elite level. This is the strength of the divine beast. And gene particles are actually easy to collect. Just a little hair associated with the mythical beast, maybe even eyelashes. All can be counted as gene particles. It really doesn't work. Mewtwo is around, so why not hatch a little Mewtwo? A thud. Li Yu's back sank. He put down his space backpack. Opened gently. It turns out that the mythical beast Pokemon eggs have been put into it by the system. Just looking at the appearance, the mythical beast eggs are nothing special. It can all be called an ordinary sentence. But when you put your hand on it and activate your mental power, you can feel a majestic energy surging in the mythical beast egg. Like a sea with no visible edge. Energy comes in waves like waves. It seemed like it could drown him at any moment. In front of this energy, Li Yu decided that he was extremely insignificant. The system will not deceive me. This Pokemon egg really has the energy to give birth to a mythical beast. Li Yu was immersed in his own joy and did not notice that the surrounding environment began to change slowly. A dense haze rose from the center of the penalty area, spread into the air and continued to expand. The already dark sky began to brew a strange atmosphere. It's night time. Month celebrity is rare. Flash Scyther's senses are so sharp. Look up at soaring in the sky. Haze turned into a dark cloud and began to shrink rapidly. Soaring in the sky is like being normal, being split in two by dark clouds, and a sharp hissing suddenly breaks through the clouds. Li Yu frowned. Soaring in the sky where the dark clouds broke, a figure suddenly appeared. That moment, the entire penalty area began to resonate. In a blink, the vegetation in the restricted area began to shake greatly, and countless plants turned into green energy visible to the naked eye. And a plant that loses energy is like losing life. Each one quickly withered. There was dead silence in the restricted area. The grass essence fruit suddenly burst out with an extremely captivating light, which was very conspicuous in the situation where the vitality of the restricted area was completely deprived. But Li Yu didn't have time to pay more attention. Because amazing changes are happening above. Soaring in the sky. Countless green energies gathered and wrapped themselves up, turning into a huge cocoon. Night sky. The green brilliance is getting thicker. When the light dissipated, a slender figure ran out. Shaman in the form of soaring in the sky. Li Yu exclaimed. But he quickly frowned. Because this shaman was completely different from what he remembered. It looked like a puppy, but its hair color, which should have been white and green, was completely black. It steps out of the air. A pair of eyes actually contains crimson light. Staring fiercely at Li Yu and Scyther below. The illusory beast that originally symbolized tenderness and gratitude was actually polluted into this appearance, with only a little green on the top of its head. It can also reveal the beautiful side of it. Exploration is activated. Pokemon. Shaman. Closing square bracket. Qualification. Level 2 God. Infected by dirty energy, the mental contest condition is abnormal, and the actual level and combat power cannot be detected. Closing square bracket. In the end, what happened? Li Yu was shocked when she saw the detected Pokemon panel. He finally knew why he signed the 5-star check-in. Shaman in the soaring in the sky form is inherently more aggressive than the land form, and her personality will also be affected. And now, looking at the bloody aura emanating from Shaman's body. A ready-to-move gesture. Li Yu knows. This battle is inevitable. But Mewtwo's mental power is strong, and the disorder caused by the psychic magnetic field is more serious, and he has not yet awakened. Gabite has exhausted all its energy. Just rely on Flash Scyther to face Shaman in soaring in the sky form. It's simply asking for death. No matter how weak Shaman is among the mythical beasts, he can't compare to the likes of Rayquaza and Groudon, but he's still a mythical beast. It's completely different from ordinary Pokemon. What's more, the contaminated Shaman is extremely aggressive and loses his mind, just like the grass-type Pokemon he encountered before. It's too late, it's faster than that. A burst of intense light suddenly erupted from Shaman's body. This is the precursor to stockpile. It's time to show your trump card. Li Yu frowned when he saw that the situation was not good. Until this point, he has not used the props he obtained before. I'm just afraid that things will get even more out of control. The beat of the divine beast arrival, it's up to you. The beat of the arrival of the mythical beast was thrown by Li Yu and thrown onto soaring in the sky. Bang! The beads exploded directly in front, and a ball of fire lit up the night sky, looking like bright fireworks. The next second, there was a strong wind in the penalty area, and the thunder rumbled. With the sound of thunder, a huge hole suddenly tore open in the center of the semicircular moon, dozens of times larger than the space crack that Gabite had cut open before. Li Yu rubbed his eyes. I thought I had seen it wrong. He looked intently. What was indeed discovered was that the center of the moon was occupied by an unknown hole. The semicircular moon is divided directly into two crescents. And the hole torn out in the center has no cal. It was darker than the night, so dark that it made one's heart palpitate. It seems as if all light will be swallowed up by this depth. At this time, two golden arcs suddenly lit up in the terrifying deep cave entrance. Under the arc, white light gradually emerged. The white light outlines the slender hand bones and sternum, combined with the golden arc, to perfectly draw a mysterious bat-like Pokemon. But other parts of the Pokemon were blended into the darkness, making it difficult to see clearly. Only the stars passing overhead change reveals its true identity. At the same time, Shaman's stockpile is done. Even though he was mentally disturbed, he still felt the huge threat coming from another place in the sky. It turned around without hesitation. A ball of light with a radius of several meters was released. As the light shone, an astonishing shock wave also struck. Li Yu immediately used teleport. Stay away from the battlefield. Really? At the same time as the ball of light struck, all the trees and grass in the penalty area were blown away. A flash of astonishment flashed in Li Yu's eyes. It's unimaginable that Shaman's small body contains such huge energy. He knows this trick. It's Shaman's signature skill, Seed Flare. By absorbing the contaminated energy and purifying it after decomposition, the power of the skill will increase or decrease according to the amount of pollution absorbed. And now, looking at the black ball of light at the edge. Now this move is not a purify skill, but a complete pollution energy ball. After the mysterious Pokemon appears, the hole behind it closes. But the original semicircular moon has changed. It became a full moon. The clouds parted. Moonlight spreads down, clearly reflecting the mysterious Pokemon. I saw it standing proudly, exuding Lucas like a crescent moon, and its elegant figure was like the most gorgeous night sky. Lunala. Liu was stunned and read out the name of the legendary moon god. He no longer knew what to say. Even he marveled at his luck. As soon as I summoned her, Lunala appeared. This is a veritable first-level god. In the original work, it has been the incarnation of the moon since ancient times and is deeply respected. This moment. If it hadn't been for the deathly silence in the restricted area, all souls would have worshipped. Because even Liu. There was a slight wavering in my mind. Unexpectedly, he just finished speaking. Lunala suddenly crossed the distance of space and stared straight at him. Human, you summoned me. A voice suddenly sounded in Liu's head. Along with this sound, the psychic in the body began to become unstable. Telepathy triggered. At the same time, the shock wave carried by the ball of light arrived in front of Lunala in the blink of an eye. But he ran into an invisible barrier. Direct and invisible. But Lunala, the ball of light that was several meters thick, didn't pay attention at all. While talking to Liu, it opened the dual wingbeat inlaid with golden moon arcs and slapped it hard at the huge dirty energy ball. All of a sudden, flying sand and rocks, wind blades blowing out. The huge polluted energy ball shattered in the blink of an eye and fell apart. The filthy energy ball turned into fragments and immediately dissipated in midair. Lunala, on the other hand, remained motionless, looking down at Shaman condescendingly, not taking him seriously at all. Shaman felt taunted, and his bloodthirsty eyes became more ferocious. Just listen to it let out a sharp neigh and rush straight down towards Lunala. The next second, a black vortex suddenly appeared under Lunala's body, and it moved slightly. Body dive. Subsequently, he merged into the black vortex out of thin air and completely disappeared. Shaman lost his target, and his body that was rushing forward suddenly stagnated, and he was stunned in place. Originally soaring in the sky was its domain. But now, Shaman didn't notice any trace of Lunala at all. The scene changes rapidly. Lunala suddenly emerged from the black vortex, and her wings outlined in golden arcs flapped hard at the stunned Shaman. Bang! Shaman flew out upside down. The stars above Lunala's head changed slightly. Immediately afterwards, a touch of morning sun soaring in the sky had already begun to appear, and the sky turned dark. There is only one full moon left. Lunala looked up. Just one breath. Moonlight poured into Lunala's body like water. In an instant, dazzling light burst out from Lunala's body, and a crescent moon appeared on Lunala's body. Liu subconsciously covered his eyes with his hands. Flash Scyther watched the battle between the two gods in soaring in the sky, his eyes shining as if he had some understanding. The moonlight radiating from Lunala's body was about to solidify. It was obviously moonlight, but it was more dazzling than the sun, and it hurt so much that it seemed to annihilate everything. Boom. Click. Accompanied by waves of rolling thunder, the restricted area soaring in the sky began to make a sound similar to the breaking of glass. Magic City Secret Realm Specialized Research Institute. Countless high-precision instruments that are unheard of by the public are playing their mission here. A staff member squinted at the flat data in front of him, feeling sleepy. Just when he was about to fall on the table. In front of the instrument that detects energy fluctuations in the Shishan area, the data began to rise like a cliff. The staff was so excited. Smelling salts. When he was sure that he had read correctly, he looked at the display screen with wide eyes. But found out. The data climb is strange at this time, and the red bar of destruction is already on the verge of reaching the top. There's just a long way to go. He immediately realized something was wrong. Professor Wei. Professor Wei. He was in such a hurry that he didn't even care about dropping one of his shoes along the way. Bang. The door was smashed open. The staff ran out of breath. Professor Wei, who was wearing a white coat with a few white hairs on his head, saw that his hair was disheveled and he even lost one of his shoes. His expression tightened. Then, just listen to the panting staff member say, Professor Wei, it's bad. There are abnormal energy fluctuations in the secret green space in Shishan District, the magical city. It seems. In the middle of speaking, he swallowed in horror. Professor Wei realized something was wrong at this time and was sweating profusely. I saw him moving at a speed completely inconsistent with his age. He rushed forward with a strong stride. What's going on? Belch. The staff was about to cry. The secret green land will be destroyed soon. Professor Wei's body softened when he heard this. I fainted directly. The research institute instantly fell into chaos. Brother Shi, the polluted stones we placed in the secret green area of Shishan district cannot be detected. What? The short-haired man who had closed his eyes to rest suddenly sat up in shock. His expression turned cold. What happened? We are investigating, and it seems that the heir of the Lin family who is cooperating with us also. The short-haired man glared fiercely. The subordinate immediately trembled. Dead, dead. Brother Shi, a man with short hair, rubbed his head and clicked his tongue impatiently. The number one family in the demonic city has only this ability. You are also a waste. You can't even do this well. The person reporting below looked pale. It seems that he has a premonition of the coming fate. Someone is coming. Upon hearing this, the subordinate fell to the ground in despair. A Pokemon quietly appeared behind him, killed the screaming person in one go, and dragged him away without anyone noticing. Only the lingering blood on the ground proved that he had existed in this world. Oh, it's really troublesome to have to explain this to the boss. The short-haired man rubbed his head and murmured in distress. Green restricted area. In a trance, Liu felt as if he had seen the scenery of another world. But wait until he concentrates before looking. But found that it seemed to be an illusion. Indescribable shock in my heart. Both Shaman and Lunala are genuine mythical beasts. Lunala is a mega beast that surpasses the normal spirit ascension. In the original work, he single-handedly protected the peace of the Alola region. Liu was suddenly moved. His mind was spinning. Take out a black Pokeball from your backpack. Whichever one you catch counts. Liu held the Dark Master Ball in his hand and his expression moved slightly. Always be prepared to see opportunities throw themselves at you. But he knew. Most likely Shaman. After all, Lunala is much stronger. The probability of losing is almost zero. But under the influence of the Divine Beast Bead, Lunala had a strong impression of him. It must meet a small requirement of collecting gene particles. Not a problem. Just enough to hatch a soul formation egg. It can be said to kill two birds with one stone. After all, children make choices. Liu naturally wants them all. He will not let go of either of the two mythical beasts. Do not know why. Lunala, who was absorbing the energy of moonlight, suddenly trembled. Lunala, who was absorbing moonlight's energy, suddenly trembled. It seemed like he was being targeted by something. It looked behind it strangely. Found nothing. He was not aware of the young man's sinister intentions at all. In the end, I could only continue to absorb the brilliance energy with some confusion. Shaman is tainted. Strong desire to attack, no fear or pain. Even though it was flapped by Lunala's wings and its body was internally injured, it seemed like it couldn't feel normal. After a while, the whole body emitted a dark green light that was almost black. It quickly covered the whole body. Lunala sprints into the air. At the same time, the solid moonlight in the sky formed a dark beam of light, as if coming from the sky. It's like heaven's punishment coming to the world. Flash Scyther had the urge to crawl on the ground. Liu looked tense. My heart skipped a beat. The Dark Master Ball held in his palm was soaked with sweat. This blow determines who he can conquer in the end. Forbidden Sky. Shaman is wrapped in a dark green cocoon as thick as ink, facing Moongeist beam like a sharp knife. Boom. The two powerful energies collided together, and the air suddenly roared violently. The purple light with a bluish edge took over after a few seconds, constantly suppressing the dark green light group downwards. Liu watched their battle. It's clear that Shaman's strength is clearly not Lunala's rival. Although he can barely resist the Moongeist beam for a while at this time. But in the end it was reaching its limit. He squeezed the Dark Master Ball tighter. As long as the opponent adds more strength, Shaman's side will collapse. It didn't take long. It was just as Liu expected. As Lunala further deepened Moongeist beam's output, Shaman was suddenly unstoppable. The Moongeist beam suddenly strengthened, and the thick blue-purple light instantly broke through Shaman's dark green light group and swallowed it directly. Liu clenched his fists. His breath stopped. His mood was even more tense than the two mythical beasts he was fighting against. Afraid of an accident. Shaman was beaten to death by Lunala. Then he would be missing a divine beast. This is all his hard work. Li Yu was worried. But I also know that at this time, I cannot act rashly. Otherwise, even if it is affected by the energy of the two divine beasts, it is probably a dead end. His fragile body could not withstand such torture. Simply Li Yu's prayer took effect. I saw the dark green light gradually disappearing. Subsequently, Shaman's figure appeared and fell straight down. He was about to be blasted into the lake. It's now. Li Yu's pupils shrank and he took advantage of the situation to throw the Dark Master Ball. The next second, the Dark Master Ball in the sky suddenly emitted a burst of black-red light. Just listen to a beep. Congratulations to the host for subduing Shaman. Build intimacy +80. Closing square bracket. Success. As expected, it is the Dark Master Ball, which immediately increases the intimacy level by 80, and is already not far away from Scyther. Before Li Yu could be happy, he suddenly felt dizzy. Immediately afterwards, awareness just smelling salts. Goosebumps appear in response to stress. Less than 2 meters away, he saw Lunala, the moon god, floating quietly in front of him. The body exudes endless coercion. It was the first time that Li Yu saw Lunala's appearance so clearly, and the first feeling that emerged was not fear. Instead, he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. That's right. He was greedy. In his eyes, Lunala and even the changing stars above her head were extremely attractive. When he thought about cultivating a moon god in the future, his heart could not suppress his beating. Flashes of pink energy. Lunala's voice sounded in her head. Human, why did you summon me? Li Yu rolled his eyes. I want it to be blessed. Said. Li Yu held out the mythical beast egg. Lunala looked over and felt an unusually vast energy in the ordinary Pokemon egg. Even it feels out of reach. Lunala was a little surprised. Psychic activates again. This time it expands the range of perception as much as possible. The result was the same as before. The energy contained in this Pokemon egg seemed to be endless. Lunala suddenly became interested. Hey, this little guy is pretty good. Li Yu sounded confused. He thought he heard laughter. But looking at Lunala's still mysterious expression, it's impossible to tell what her mood is. Subsequently, Lunala said, since you let me come to this world, I will do as you wish. In the blink of an eye. On Lunala's forehead, a third eye popped up unexpectedly. The eyes burst out with a red light. Bless the mythical Pokemon eggs. Compared to the Moongeist beam when attacking Shaman, this beam of light is mild in power. Li Yu is only at the edge of the light beam. They all seem to be wrapped in a gentle embrace, like soaking in a hot spring, relaxing their whole body and mind. At the same time, a steady stream of energy comes out. Incorporate Pokemon eggs. Suddenly. Drop. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Lunala's genetic particles, completing the incubation conditions, and now starting the incubation. Closing square bracket. Hatching countdown. 30 days. Closing square bracket. Li Yu was ecstatic. A smile appeared on his face. He solemnly said to him, thank you, moon god. Lunala glanced at the beast egg with soft eyes. It's like looking at your own child. Take good care of it. As it left, it stared at Li Yu and hesitated to speak. In the end, without saying anything, he threw himself into the moon again. Disappear. After it left, the moon returned to its original state. It's no longer the full moon state. Call. Only then did Li Yu relax. Although I could see the mythical beast, my mind was always tense during the communication process. Until now. Only then did he realize that the muscles in his body were sore. Flash Scyther also fell into a coma after absorbing part of the power of the moon. Sitting down on the spot, looking at the messy restricted area, he had a headache. Alliance won't let me pay, right? Soon. He just can't pay attention to such small details. Because the Dark Master Ball moved. This was the first time Shaman reacted since he captured it. Li Yu threw it out. Shaman is still jet black, but the green hair on the top of his head has become a little more. When Shaman saw Li Yu, his first reaction was to attack, but a humanized struggle flashed in his eyes. At this juncture, the essence fruit of grass was thrown out by Li Yu. Immediately afterwards, the essence fruit changes in the air and turns into the purest natural power. The originally silent restricted area began to change quietly. Press conference of the Magic City Research Institute. The green secret realm of the Magic City is about to be destroyed. Except for the restricted area, all other personnel have been rescued by the Pokemon troops. Buzz. There was a commotion in the audience. Reporter couldn't wait to ask, what is the reason for the destruction of the secret realm? Is there any sign of the destruction of the Greenland secret realm? Isn't Li Yu still in the penalty area? Do we have to give up on him? The audience was in a commotion, and the microphone was about to hit Professor Wei's face. Professor Wei's face turned pale and he was as silent as gold. Sudden. A staff member broke into the noisy press conference and shouted, Professor Wei, the energy value of the green secret realm is declining. A staff member broke into the noisy press conference and shouted, Professor Wei, the energy value of the green secret realm is declining. Bang. Professor Wei immediately ignored everything else, overturned his chair, stood up, and left in a hurry, leaving behind a group of confused reporters. Alliance office area in Beijing. Su Luoluo heard what the staff said. His eyes instantly turned red. Quite a while. Tears rolled down her tender cheeks. Obviously I just heard that the secret realm was destroyed and it was fine. What's wrong with me? Su Luoluo wiped the corners of his eyes and was lost in thought. Restricted area. The essence fruit of grass turned into green light ribbons, each one wrapped around Shaman. Shaman felt a familiar scent. The scarlet under his eyes dimmed. There was no struggle's obedient green light band surrounding it. Shaman closed his eyes. A hedgehog that quietly transforms into a terrestrial form, petite and cute. It's just that the original pink petals are covered by haze, and their true colors cannot be revealed. Instantly. Let the light of the essence fruit of grass swallow it up. Magnificent vitality. Flooding into Shaman. With the injection of life energy, Shaman actually changed with his eyes closed. For a moment, the body that had been dyed by that filthy power returned to its original appearance. Part of the body returned to a holy and noble white color. I saw the petals on both sides of its forehead opening and closing gently. Bloom suddenly. Shaman's eyes opened smoothly. Jamie. The little hedgehog covered in white and green curled up and looked around, the crimson light in his eyes completely disappeared. Li Yu looked over with a smile. At this time, Shaman's 4 short legs were motionless. He looked at the surrounding environment uneasily, with a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Only when I saw Li Yu. Then he shyly approached. But I was embarrassed to be too close, so I kept a distance of 1 meter. Li Yu was not surprised either. Shaman's land form has completely different personality than soaring in the sky form. Shy and impressionable, Astonish is also able to sense the gratitude of others. He used probing techniques. Pokemon. Shaman, land form. Closing square bracket. Qualification. Level 2 God. Level 73. Ability. Natural recovery. When receiving a mental confusion attack during a battle, the status condition will recover on its own. Attribute. Grasp land form. Closing square bracket. Skills. Growth, magical leaf, leech seed, synthesis, sweet scent, natural gift, seed flare, worry seed, aromatherapy, energy ball, guardian, sunny day. Combat power value. 4500. Intimacy. 81. Purify level. 60%. Purified 60%. I don't know if the herbs I picked are useful. Li Yu had an idea and took out the energy cube making machine. He tried throwing in an energy root. 5 minutes later. The machine buzzed. A green energy cube was born. It's really a grass type. Li Yu just took it out. Jamie. There was a sound of Charm Normal's growl in my ears. He turned around and saw Shaman, who looked quite anxious, circling around him. It's just for you. He patted Shaman on the head. Shaman's neck shrank, but he obediently took the grass energy cube. Then he swallowed it at a speed completely inconsistent with his temperament. Next moment, Shaman's body glowed with a green light. Only the short legs still have some black. At this time, the purify level shown by the probing technique has reached 65%. Li Yu was thoughtful. After all, the combat power value of Shaman 4500 is only in the land form. If it is in the soaring in the sky form, it should be higher. After being completely purified, it can exert greater capabilities. Before, he was always worried that shaman was too contaminated. Now it seems. The essence of grass is worthy of the power of natural rules contained in it, and it was saved with one force. Shaman, who looked satisfied, felt sad in his eyes after seeing the dead silence in the restricted area. The next second, it shines with unprecedented light. For a moment, wherever the light reaches, countless surging life energy pours back into the surrounding earth, nurturing the entire green secret realm. The restricted area was affected and brought back to life. The first touch of morning sun pours down. Like Earl Dervish who started the resurgence of all things. All the haze in soaring in the sky disappeared and became cyanwood clear again. The desolate and lonely wilderness turned green, new green leaves grew on the dead branches, and young leaves the size of fingernails began to appear. Trees are sprouting, weeds are sneaking out, and everything is flourishing. The infusion of abundant life force is completed. Shaman suddenly turned dark. Mouth keeps opening and closing as if about to vomit normal. What's wrong? Li Yu hurried forward. Shaman vomited several times. Poof. A stone that was extremely dark and exuded a dark aura came out of his mouth. This stone is ominous. Li Yu felt very uncomfortable even when he was close. This is. Li Yu frowned, and his detection skills were swept away. A polluted stone contaminated with the breath of Yveltal will be swallowed up by the power of darkness until it is deprived of life if carried for a long time. Closing square bracket. Pollution stone. So this is the source of pollution. Li Yu suddenly understood. Shaman is a Pokemon that can purify the power of filth. He just knew it. How could normal's pollution cause it to be affected as well? He understood when he saw that it was Yveltal. Yveltal is said to have the ability to absorb the life of living creatures and is known as the god of destruction. This is the only Pokemon that can contaminate Shaman. But, Li Yu pondered. The pollution stone cannot appear here for no reason. Something dangerous that would affect even Shaman. More like artificial placement. Li Yu felt that he was faintly touching something, but because he had no clues, he had to give up the idea first. The other side. Jamie. Shaman's body immediately relaxed after spitting out the pollution stone. It was tumbling around Li Yu excitedly, acting as it pleased in the way it liked. The pollution stone is gone. Yes, boss, the Lin family is also ruined. Brother Shi, the short-haired man, had a bitter look on his face. He just went to retest it and confirmed that the pollution stone had really lost its fluctuation. This indicates that the contamination stone has failed. This stone was obtained from the ruins of a diamond secret realm, although there are still some. But every piece cannot be copied. They have achieved a lot with this stone. When the short-haired man reported this situation, he knew that he would be punished, but there was nothing he could do about it. Okay, I understand, you go down first. Unexpected. The boss didn't scold him, but Brother Shi became more frightened. I can only go down quietly. The green secret realm of the magic city. Before leaving, hearing a thoughtful voice in the air, his hair stood up and he ran away without looking back. A cave in Shishan. Several figures flashed past. Li Yu and several Pokemon appeared at the same time. Flash Scyther, Gabite, and Mewtwo are healed by Shaman. All restored to peak contest condition. Li Yu relied on Shaman's guidance and used teleport to get out of the secret realm. As soon as it appeared, the electronic screen restored the signal. There was a buzzing sound. Reminder Li Yu received the message. He clicked it. The eyebrows are slightly raised. Hello Mr. Li Yu, we sincerely invite you to participate in the psychic activation ceremony within our family, and in order to thank you for your selfless help to the Lu family in the Verdanturf secret realm, we will reward you heavily. Closing square bracket. What follows is a ding-dong sound. A sentence floated on the electronic screen. 300,000 was received. It was twice the price of the energy root he gave. Psychic activated. Li Yu thought for a while and decided to go. He himself had no interest in these aristocratic families, but the Lu family was willing to let him visit psychic activation as an outsider. It's enough to show their sincerity. People with special abilities are very rare on Aquamarine, and there are only a small number of people. And psychic is even more precious among them. In particular, almost psychics are unwilling to disclose the methods of mental training and activation. Li Yu knew too little information about this aspect. He currently has less than a quarter of his mastery of psychic. So when I saw the rare psychic activation ceremony, I instantly became interested. As the only psychic family in the Dragon Kingdom, the Liu family must have its own secrets that are not passed down. He should have some insights during the activation ceremony. See, the date is tomorrow. Li Yu left Shishan. The other side. The Lin family in the magical capital. Master, our people saw Li Yu appear. Good. The very tired white-haired man slapped the table and stood up. Kill my son, I want him to die without a burial place. The man's eyes were blood red. The tired spirit was particularly invigorated. Lin Fan has actually taken complete control of the Lin family in the past year. The Lin family only listened to his instructions. That's why they reacted so slowly after Lin Fan's accident. The head of the Lin family's eyes turned red when he thought of his son's blood being sucked into the space crack in the secret realm of Verdanturf. I can't wait to eat Li Yu's flesh raw. But it was not just Lin Fan who was sucked into the crack together, but also the powerful Pokemon from their family. Now if you want to gather another team, it will take some time to prepare. Not to mention, everyone saw Gabite's skill. The head of the Lin family acted cautiously. Naturally, you need to make more preparations. After 1 hour, all the existing members of the Lin family were summoned to discuss how to deal with Li Yu. Brother, Li Yu is difficult to deal with, why don't we forget it? Na, the younger brother of the head of the Lin family, spoke. Backed off. Li Yu's move during the live broadcast really scared him to death. In his opinion, it was really unnecessary to sacrifice the entire Lin family for Lin Fan's life. That kid Lin Fan had taken away all the rights from him before. After he pretended to shed 2 tears, his eyes began to roll. Thinking about how to persuade the eldest brother to pass on the position of head of the family to him. Impossible. The head of the Lin family categorically objected. My Lin family and Li Yu are at odds with each other. When the Lin family leader's brother heard this, he curled his lips quietly, sat down and stopped talking. Looks like it's time to use it. The head of the Lin family muttered dejectedly for half a minute, then determination flashed in his eyes. Brother, no. Master, this. Others became anxious upon hearing this. They all started to persuade. But the head of the Lin family was already determined. A very secret door opened from both sides. A glowing pink crystal stands on the only pillar in the center. It's clearly inconspicuous. But once the Lin family gets close, they feel dazzling. The head of the Lin family looked at it with memories in his eyes. It was thanks to that exploration of the secret realm that our Lin family was able to be where we are today. We relied on the only remaining hair in the ruins to create Mewtwo, and later relied on crystals to develop the suppressor. This is a crystal stone that can suppress the strength of Pokemon. You can definitely defeat Li Yu with it. Brother, the crystal has been minimized. If we use it against Li Yu this time, we will completely lose the crystal. The younger brother was sweating profusely. At this time, a burst of laughter came out suddenly. Haha, it turns out this is the Lin family's greatest treasure. After finishing speaking, the owner of the voice appears. It is a man with short hair. The head of the Lin family immediately showed fear on his face when he saw him. The reactions of others were no less generous. His face turned pale. Brother Lin was so frightened that he sat on the ground. You. The boss said that since you are already useless, you might as well show your final value. The calm tone announced the end. Let's go. Brother Shi waved his hand. Countless Pokemon and people suddenly appeared at the gate. It's just that those Pokemon are completely different from ordinary Pokemon. They are covered in haze, and even their souls seem to be contaminated. The head of the Lin family collapsed to the ground in despair. Already desperate, Brother Lin yelled and ran away. But not yet close to the gate. Just hear a bang. A ghastly attacked like a ghost, reached out and grabbed his neck and pulled him. PFF'd. The blood was spurred by the momentum and flew all over the place. There was no head, only a limp body lying on the ground. However, Ghastly let out a weird and arrogant laugh, licked the blood on the floor, and then moved on to the next target. All of a sudden, the whole Lin family was in tragedy. It's like hell is coming. Magic City Alliance Conference Room. Hongji sat in the conference room silently, without his usual demeanor at all. In the first row opposite is Fang Lao, the president of Magic City Alliance. At this time, his face was extremely ugly. Bang. Everyone suddenly fell silent. The Lin family was destroyed. What? Mr. Fang, what's going on? How could the Lin family be wiped out? They were once the number one family in the Demon City. They are all above the Lu family. That's right. Although this period is not as good as before, a camel is as skinny as a horse. If the heir of his family dies, isn't there still the head of the Lin family? Is the Lin family leader also dead? Who killed them? This is too cruel. After a few seconds of blank mind, many alliance executives suddenly started talking in surprise. Honky said nothing. But my heart was equally shocked. He knew about the entanglement between the Lin family and Li Yu in the secret realm of Verdanturf. I was a little worried at first. But I didn't expect it. The entire Lin family was destroyed overnight. The shadow organization is what they did. Old Fang said with a headache. Suddenly, the conference room was silent. Everyone was silent. The next day, the entrance to the Lu family manor. It was already crowded with dense crowds. There was originally a fairly small garden in front of the gate, but at this moment, at a glance, it was all filled with black heads. If it weren't for security personnel maintaining order, maybe it will be even more confusing. He stood at the door. Haven't made a sound yet. There was a Stephanie walking towards me. Mr. Li Yu, follow me. Walking through the crowd, Stephanie's face was still rosy. She peeked at him from time to time, and immediately lowered her head shyly when she was discovered. Li Yu followed her and entered the manor. The electronic sound sounded. Drop. Closing square bracket. Sign in location. Lugia Psychic District. Closing square bracket. Hey, check-in at the 2-star location was successful. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, Sand Shield, Sand Shot Special Skill. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, Sand Shield, Sand Shot Special Skills. Closing square bracket. Sand Shield and Sand Shot. What are these? Li Yu's eyes widened in shock. Staying motionless in place. Stephanie, who was leading the way, looked at her strangely. But Li Yu didn't care about other people's eyes and hurriedly looked at the system introduction. Sand Shield, Sand Shot, Special Skills. After combined with Pokemon Integrated Union, they can exert powerful protection and large-scale group attack effects. Closing square bracket. Note. Exclusively for ground-type Pokemon. Closing square bracket. When he saw the introduction, his eyes lit up slightly. This is entirely a self-created technique. The biggest advantage of self-created skills is that the enemy cannot predict your actions. Not to mention, one protection and one group attack just make up for Gabite's current shortcomings, and this is the first time that special skills appear. I'm afraid even the defense doesn't reveal any gaps. The effect is absolutely outstanding. This undoubtedly improves combat effectiveness in battle. Li Yu is ready to make a move. But he glanced at the confused Stephanie next to him. I can only give up this idea first. Walk to the villa. Just stepped through the door. Then I heard a strong male voice say with a smile, Li Yu, I have heard about you for a long time, but this time I can see you. The man has a beard. Wearing a pewter-colored suit. He had the aura of a superior, but he was the first to reach out his hand as an equal. Li Yu raised his eyebrows and stretched out his hand to shake his hand. Master Lu. The head of the Lu family smiled and nodded. Before Li Yu came, he specially clicked on the Pokemon Pokédex app and found some family background of the Lu family on the internal forum. The heirs of their family are all psychic inheritors. And he is the pinnacle of psychics in the Dragon Kingdom. In the worldwide psychic Pokemon competition showdown on Aquamarine, the country has always relied on the Lu family and another family from Jing City to break into the top 10. Therefore, the Lu family is also supported by the government. That's why countless people came to support the psychic initiation ceremony. Even many people in Magic City are proud to receive the invitation from the Lu family. But the internal ceremony involved family secrets. Only a small number of people can actually visit. The activation ceremony will begin soon. Mr. Li, please. The head of the Lu family made a gesture in the direction of the hall. Li Yu is also welcome. Went straight over. The Lin family is destroyed. Closing square bracket. In the Magic City forum. One post went viral at an astonishing speed. The dispute between Li Yu and the Lin family has been the top concern of all trainers in the past 2 days. Now the news is out. Trainers were immediately attracted. Click into the post. After confirming that what the poster said was not a lie, he immediately expressed his opinion in shock. Most people are asking what's going on. Finally, under nearly 1,000 layers of questions, the landlord showed up. It is said that it was because that organization took action. The Lin family cooperated with them before, but they did not expect to suffer the consequences. Quote ? What kind of organization? How come the host is so secretive about what he says? Tisk. I saw a new guy upstairs. He was just promoted to high-level trainer not long ago. He hasn't even heard of them. They are too audacious to cooperate with the crazy shadow organization. Haven't the Lin family seen so many precedents? If you see it, you won't be bloodbathed and wiped out. The original poster said that no one was left alive and all the Pokemon were taken away. When the police went there, they only saw the manor that had been looted. Shadow organization. It looks like there are a lot of newbies. Send me a private message to chat privately, otherwise I'm afraid of being harmed. As soon as he said this, others were also reminded. Fewer and fewer people are replying. The newbies are curious. I actually sent a private message to ask, but the other person turned out to be an advertising person. Very disappointed. But trainers who have just entered the app quickly discovered it. This kind of news only circulates in internal forums and is unlikely to appear on public platforms. Because the impact is too great. It can cause panic. They also remembered the name of the shadow organization. In the hall, Luan kept taking deep breaths. Nervous hands kept shaking. Anur, don't worry. You have taken the prepared healing potion and activated psychic to get twice the result with half the effort. You will definitely succeed. Mother Lu comforted her. Yes, brother, believe in yourself. Lu Qing patted Luan on the back. Phew. I'm ready. After the words fell, the hall fell silent. Everyone looked towards the entrance of the hall. Standing next to the head of the Lu family was a boy under the age of 20, who looked handsome and tall. Some young people's pupils immediately dilated. Eyes full of shock. Certainly. There are also some older people who don't use the internet very much. Didn't recognize it. They thought it was another junior from the Lu family. Just when he thought so, he saw the head of the Lu family taking a half step back to let Li Yu go first. Such a gesture. This is all respectable. The older family heads and middle-aged people were immediately stunned. Not waiting for them to explore. The head of the Lu family announced the start of the ceremony. Then Luan was seen standing almost hand in hand on the central stage. Put your right hand on the jade stone next to the microphone. Li Yu smiled when he saw it. It was the jade he used to trigger the special sign in. In addition to this, there is a palm-sized piece of leafage on the stage. He was a little curious. Not sure how to activate psychic with this stuff. When Luan put his hand on it, the jade gave off a burst of fluorescence. Time passes minute by minute. Tens of minutes later. The fluorescence dissipates. The head of the Lu family said slightly nervously, Anur, close your eyes and concentrate. Li Yu heard this. I couldn't help but close my eyes at the same time. There are not a few people who did this. Everyone is curious about psychic activation, and many of them try it just in case. That pink psychic immediately comes to mind. The voice of the head of the Lu family was guiding. He continued, sit cross-legged, put down all the burdens in your heart, and look at the leafage to see if you can make it float. Everyone in the hall sat down instantly. Luan frowned, staring at leafage in front of him with bloodshot eyes. Sudden. Leafage stirred. Although it was only for a second, Luan immediately exclaimed happily. Successful. The head of the Lu family also showed a relieved smile, breathed a sigh of relief, and wiped his sweat. At this time, a hissing sound. Leafage floats out of thin air. The next second, with Li Yu's eyes turning, the stone pillar that flew to one side quickly made a sharp sound like a steel knife piercing it. The palm-sized leafage is completely submerged. Crunch. Sudden. The stone pillar gave a fragile warning. Like it's about to collapse. The Lu family hadn't even realized what was going on. Seeing this, they could only shout and run with a look of horror on their faces. Hearing this, Li Yu took the lead. He ran out of the door in a few steps. Wait until everyone fled out of the hall with frightened faces. Rumble. The hall collapsed. A rare look of astonishment appeared on Li Yu's face. He didn't expect it to have such terrifying power just after trying it according to the Lu family leader's method. At the same time, hey, congratulations to the host for his psychic enhancement and the ability to control tangible objects. Closing square bracket. Hey, congratulations to the host for his psychic enhancement and the ability to control tangible objects. Closing square bracket. Anything tangible. Thinking of the scene just now, Liu was thoughtful. But other people's reactions were obviously not much better. Especially the Lu family. The first reaction of the head of the Lu family was to look at his son. Only when he saw Lu and taking out the inheritance gem did he take a deep breath. What followed was confusion. He knew his son's strength, he just activated psychic. It was obviously not him who caused this consequence. But the situation was complicated and he really couldn't identify who did it. Moreover, the opponent has the ability to control psychic. Not even him. Not only that, the other party must be the top psychic in the world. More than the vast majority. The head of the Lu family was in extremely complicated mood. He never stopped practicing psychic throughout his life. Work hard every day. Spread on this for at least 4 to 6 hours every day. But it only makes objects float. But it was obviously the first time for the other party to do so, and he failed to control his strength well, and ended up surpassing himself. He glanced at Liu vaguely out of the corner of his eye, doubting in his heart. Because the moment leafage flew out. At that time, he noticed that Liu's eyes were particularly focused. Confused with his son, the shock of the others present was completely different. So, he always felt that this matter had something to do with the other party. But then I felt that this fact was too ridiculous, so I shook my head and denied it. Liu already possesses the power of Changpan. It would be too shocking to have psychic. The head of the Lu family couldn't believe it. But no matter what, his evaluation of Liu improved again. And make up your mind to make good friends. Secretly ordered his subordinates to double the reward for thanking Liu. Regardless of whether he did it or not, Liu's future achievements will be limitless. Mr. Li, thank you this time. Otherwise, if my son is still undergoing treatment, how could I have done the activation ceremony today? Thank you so much. This is my little thought. The head of the Lu family said while taking out a check from his pocket. Liu glanced at it. I was slightly surprised. Lamenting the Lu family's wealth. There are 6 zeros after the one on the check. When he received the 3rd level alliance medal, it was only 1 million. Now it's free prostitution. The two feel completely different. But it's not over yet. The head of the Lu family waved. The person standing next to me came over, holding a present box in his arm. This is. The head of the Lu family smiled and motioned for Liu to open it. He took it. Opened the package. After seeing what was inside clearly, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Inside are 2 Pokeballs with a black background and a saffron-colored ring stripe in the middle, which is an extremely mysterious contest. It can be distinguished from ordinary Pokeballs at a glance. Simply put, it's this ball that's filled with the smell of money. Is this a luxury ball? The head of the Lu family nodded and admitted. The luxury ball is among the highest level Pokeballs currently available on the market. One piece is as high as 800,000. After all, the Master Ball only exists in legends. I'm afraid only trainers above elite can have news about Master Ball. Don't even think about it as a normal trainer. In this case, the luxury ball itself is precious. Moreover, Pokemon captured with luxury ball will not only increase the capture rate, but also make them feel very comfortable and receive luxurious treatment. At the same time, it can also increase the intimacy between the tamed Pokemon and the trainer. Liu had wanted to buy a luxury ball before. But you can't find it on the market at all. I didn't expect that now I would just go to whoring for nothing. Or 2. Master Lu, you are really generous. The total value of these things is close to 3 million. Liu pinched the luxury ball and raised her eyebrows playfully. Mr. Li, our Lu family sincerely makes you our friend. The head of the Lu family said very sincerely. After all, if these things are given out, Liu can be favored in exchange. That was simply the most profitable business Lu had ever done. What an old fox. Liu read silently. The glimmer of expectation in the eyes of the Lu family master was not ignored. How could he not know what the other party's behavior meant? But this present is really satisfying. He's not pretentious either. Okay, I'll accept it. When the head of the Liu family heard this, he immediately smiled and the wrinkles on his face were squeezed out. Li Yu smiled slightly. The two of them smiled tacitly at the same time. Lu Qing next to him looked complicated. Thinking about the first time he met Li Yu, it was during his younger brother's graduation examination. Who knows, in a blink of an eye, he is already on an equal footing with his father. And his father still wanted to please him. The speed at which this person is growing is too terrifying. Waiting, and his son watched Li Yu go away. The head of the Liu family said seriously, "You must not offend him in the future. He accepted present today just to give me some face. What you do next is up to you." Lu Qing remained silent, but finally nodded to show that he understood. Luan was a little excited. There is adoration and yearning in the eyes. But more of it is determination. That is the courage to move forward. Li Yu went to the Magic City Battle Club. One swipe. Remind him that he has free access and can freely choose the training room. A multi-purpose training room was chosen. As soon as I entered, he nodded with satisfaction at the several hundred square meters of space. He released several Pokémon one after another. As soon as Mewtwo appeared, he lay lazily on the sofa in the training room. His posture was that of Zheyu's paralysis. Gabite and Scyther were very excited. After looking left and right, they flew up and grabbed the rings that covered the heads of the training room. Two Pokémon battle each other. See who is faster. Shaman is much timid compared to them. Hiding in the corner under the barbell, he secretly opened his eyes and looked at a few Pokémon. Gabite. Li Yu waved. Gabite stopped competing with Scyther. The shark tilted its head and looked at Li Yu curiously. System, use special skills on Gabite. For a moment, a beam of light shines straight at Gabite. It is wrapped in it. As the light gradually dissipated, Gabite let out a roar, and the entire training room seemed to be shaking. Dip. Gabite integrated Union's special skills are successful. Triggering, Sand Shield, Sand Shot. Closing square bracket. Li Yu cheered up. Immediately shouted, Gabite, use the Sand Shield. The words just fell. With Gabite as the center, the rock ground of the training room began to change. Immediately afterwards, rock turns into sand and gathers continuously. 10 seconds later, an extremely solid wall of sand formed in front of Gabite. Li Yu stepped forward and poked gently. Fingers dug in. But it was like a punch punched into a sponge, unable to exert any strength at all. Mewtwo on the sofa saw this with interest in his eyes. Even the shaman you were hiding in the corner ran out of nowhere. Gabite was very satisfied with her results, puffed up her chest, and looked at Li Yu expectantly. When Li Yu met its eyes, his heart softened and he was about to praise it. The electronic screen rang. Once picked up, Stephanie's urgent and crying voice came from inside. Ooh, brother Li. Shao I. Shao I. Li Yi on the other end of the phone burst into tears when he heard Li Yu's voice. Li Yu was confused. However, he still waited for Li Azi to finish crying before asking strangely, Shao I, what happened? After venting my fear, Li Azi also blushed a little and explained in a small voice. Brother Li Yu, it's all their fault. People on the internet said you were dead, it scared me. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. This explanation. He was immediately filled with questions. Don't worry, I'm fine. Remember to train well. After a few hurried explanations, Li Yu hung up the phone and quickly looked at the account number Li Azi mentioned. Li Azi listened to the beeping sound in his ear and pouted his mouth in grievance. But soon, thinking of the gentle voice of the other party on the phone, I couldn't help but smile happily. Suddenly I was full of motivation again. Keep investing in training. There are less than 2 weeks left before the entrance examination. As soon as Li Yu came out of the secret realm, she was invited by the Liu family. I really didn't pay attention to anything else. Now take the electronic screen and search. There are 5 entries about myself on the hot searches in the city. The topic list remains high. Seeing the silent prayer filling the screen, Li Yu suddenly had a black line. The internet has been a bloody storm these past 2 days. First he disappeared. Then the fans prayed. Then the institute released a press release. However, an interruption was announced at the meeting, and the energy fluctuations in the secret realm returned to normal. The research institute was ecstatic. The news that Li Yu was originally confirmed to be dead was overturned. Therefore, now there is a quarrel on the internet. Everyone was discussing whether he was dead or not. If you click on any local news, it will be related to him. Li Yu will not die. He has the power of Changpan and will definitely be able to escape this crisis. Why won't you die? That's a restricted area, and there's no chance of life. That's right, he's just a high-level trainer, so how can he be so capable? The leader-level trainer's chance of survival in the restricted area is only 40%. My boyfriend is the most jealous, he won't listen or listen. Is the brainless fan unwilling to accept the facts? The person upstairs is too venomous. If Li Yu is really gone, wouldn't it be a loss for everyone in Magic City? Sorry, I'm not from Mewtwo. Fans and gangsters quarreled and became a mess. Li Yu curiously clicked on the account that spoke to her and found that she was a very beautiful girl. But it's not as fierce as when they were arguing. The whole screen of the homepage is filled with myself. He even discovered that Stephanie had painted a picture of himself. Zoom in on the painting carefully. It is filled with prayers and hopes for myself. The comment section is filled with sincere prayers. Some even wrote that they were willing to sacrifice their life in exchange for his peace. Li Yu was silent. It's rare to be touched. For the first time, I realized that I really had fans. He didn't care at first, but he saw a group of people working hard to speak for him. Arguing with gangsters and black fans. A warm current surged in his heart. Log into the account that you have managed since registration. He left a message in the building where Gang Jing and his fans had been arguing for nearly a dozen floors. I don't have to worry about you, I'm not dead yet. The account with the red V is extremely eye-catching. It was immediately pushed up automatically by the platform system. Yuna rubbed her eyes. Feeling depressed. But he soon became excited again, and the keyboard crackled loudly. Always on the front line. Sudden. The electronic screen dinged for a while. The private messages on the platform kept ringing. She clicked it. Countless messages came in, almost causing her electronic screen to freeze. Yuna, the male god has helped you defeat the bully. Ooh, my brother Lee. I'm not dead. Oh my god, the boss is paying attention to you. I'm so envious. Li Yu is indeed always awesome. Brush it. Yuna's eyes turned red instantly, and she hurriedly clicked on the private message link. Sure enough, I found the male god's account. Woo. Yuna finally couldn't help crying. All the grievances accumulated during this period suddenly poured out. The attention and maintenance of the male god make her feel that everything is worth it. There has never been a moment when she was more determined than now about her original choice. Today's Cool Essay Award. After an hour. A repost with a screenshot posted by a certain platform celebrity instantly attracted the attention of many people. Titles such as, Li Yu is back, and, the main character exits in person, have attracted a lot of attention. It became a hot search immediately. After Li Yu finished her hair, she continued training in a happy mood. Gabite, use sand shot. The words just fell. The shield formed into a wall of sand disappeared. The next second, earthy yellow energy emerged from Gabite's body. The sand wall turned into yellow sand again. Gabite was sweating profusely and panting rapidly. Under the watchful eye of Li Yu, the yellow sand was kneaded into warheads the size of pebbles. Emission. Boom. Following Li Yu's order, nearly 10 sand bombs drew white lines in the air. With the smell of gunpowder smoke. Puff puff. Instantly. Then they all shot into the Orberg wall of the training room. Several holes were left. It's not hard to imagine. What would be the consequences if this force were shot at a person or Pokemon? Good. Li Yu patted Gabite's wings. Gululu. At this time, the sound of stomach growling sounded in the training room. Li Yu looked over in surprise. He found Gabite looking at him with a slightly flattering smile. Are you hungry so soon? Gabite nodded and rubbed her belly pitifully. After throwing out a high-level energy cube, it started gobbling it up. Shaman's eyes widened when he saw it. Li Yu sat there and thought. Something is wrong with Gabite. In the past, it would take at least 2 more hours of training at this intensity before it would feel hungry. But now, even though Sand Shield and Sand Shot are extremely energy-consuming, they shouldn't be hungry so quickly. After all, he didn't ask for the fastest speed and strength just now. It seems that since using the Great Slash, Gabite has been particularly prone to hunger. They were all obviously treated by Shaman. Mewtwo has only consumed one Apex-level energy cube until now. And Gabite has at least 10 yuan. Can catch up with the past month. Is it a sequelae? Li Yu frowned and thought. But soon. The constant ringing of notifications from his cell phone disrupted his thinking. After opening it, he looked at Ite, who was approaching tens of thousands of people. Surprise flashed in his eyes. The fifth hot search item clearly stated that the Breeder Family Association invited Li Yu to participate in an internal conference. The Breeder Family Association. Li Yu looked at it and was completely confused. Logically speaking, he has no connection with the breeders. But when I opened the account, I found that I had forwarded the comment that was ranked first. It's the Breeder Family Association account number blue versus Mr. Li Yu. In view of the power of Changpan you demonstrated in the Green Secret Realm and the medicinal materials you obtained, we sincerely invite you to attend an internal meeting to discuss the future direction of the Breeder family. Click on the building in the building. It was so sour that it almost overflowed the screen. It actually alarmed the official authorities. What kind of god did Li Yu worship? Thanks for watching.